collecting has never been more exhilarating or more precarious. From the global frenzy over Labubu Dolls to the skyrocketing prices of Pokémon and Magic the Gathering cards, or the never-ending passion of collecting sports memorabilia, objects once dismissed as toys or hobbies for children are now commanding serious money and global attention. But with soaring values and expanded collections comes increased risk. Fire, theft, accidental damage, or even the legal murk of forgeries can turn a prized collection into a devastating financial and emotional loss should the wrong thing happen. That is why specialist collections and art insurance has become essential for collectors worldwide. Unlike standard home contents insurance protection, which was never designed for high-value collectibles, dedicated collections insurance is tailored to protect the valuable collections amassed in a city like Hong Kong, where space is tight, markets are global, and passions for collecting run deep. Specialist collections insurance is designed to protect objects with financial and cultural values that outstrip the limits of ordinary home contents insurance protection. Paintings, sculptures, designer toys, trading card collections, rare wines, vintage instruments, and sports memorabilia. Each carry distinct patterns of risk, from transit knocks to humidity, damage, and even outright theft. A policy built for collections recognizes these realities explicitly, addressing the ways collectors actually acquire, catalog, store, display, transport, and occasionally sell and loan the pieces in their collection. In Hong Kong, where high-density living meets a vibrant art scene and a sophisticated collector culture, purpose-built cover can be the difference between a disappointing partial payout and a settlement that truly makes a collector whole again when something goes wrong. A standard home policy is typically built to protect everyday belongings against common perils and to replace them at modest per-item limits. This structure works for sofas and laptops, but they struggle with a first edition print of Churchill, a case of rare burgundy, or prized trading card. Sublimits on a standard home contents insurance policy can cap a claim well below market value for items within a collection. Further to this, exclusions on many home contents insurance products may narrow what qualifies as accidental damage and can mean coverage evaporates the moment items leave the insured premises for a show, a sale, or a private loan. Insurance policies focused on and built for collections are designed with different assumptions, extending coverage to items in the home, in storage, in transit, or on loan to an exhibition, and allowing higher scheduled values that reflect appraisals, invoices, and recent market evidence. If you're asking, why should I insure my collection today? Then simply consider the fact that collecting has exploded in popularity over the last 5 years. Outside traditional collectibles like wine, cars, or art, designer toys have gained popularity. Trading card hobbies have matured into global markets with grading and auction infrastructure, and sports memorabilia has shifted from a nostalgic niche aimed at extreme fans to a technology-enabled asset class with serious investors. Consider Labubu Dolls, the shaggy, ugly cute creatures created by artist Cussing Long and popularized by Pop Mart's blind mystery box model. The rise of Labubu from quirky toy to a global collecting frenzy illustrates how scarcity mechanics, social media, and strategic retail rollouts can influence demand. News coverage in 2025 noted the opening of new flagship stores and highlighted the scale of Pop Mart revenues tied specifically to Labubu, while simultaneously documenting how quickly a feverish market can cool when sentiment dries up. Trading cards demonstrate a similar mix of growth, flux, and potential. In recent years, grading firms have processed cards at near record rates, reflecting extraordinary demand for both modern and vintage issues across Pokémon, Magic the Gathering, and sports categories. Industry reporting shows the grading pipeline running along at a strong pace through 2024, which is a useful proxy for the intensity of the market, the exposure of collections to loss or damage in transit and handling. In relation to this, price tracking analysis for Magic the Gathering cards has documented sharp month-to-month moves in market prices for highly sought-after cards. A reminder that valuation is never static, and that declared or agreed values for an insured collection should be revisited as markets evolve. A global market research snapshot for sports cards has likewise projected a decade of steady expansion, with digital tools, authentication technology, and direct-to-consumer platforms accelerating growth. Each of these trends increases the importance of accurate schedules, careful storage, and coverage that follows the collection wherever it goes. At its core, a collection insurance policy is an agreement to recognize the unique characteristics of high-value personal property. This type of insurance acknowledges that a sealed case of sports cards or a slabbed Pokémon Grail, a limited-run Hot Wheels still in pristine packaging, or a contemporary print framed for humidity-controlled display requires more than a generic contents description and a nominal valuation cap. The language of a collection insurance policy is normally worded so that the plan covers all risks, physical loss or damage on a worldwide basis. This generally means that accidental breakage, theft, fire, water damage, and similar perils, subject to any extra exclusions and conditions that may be applicable, are covered under this type of insurance, anywhere in the world. As such, a collections insurance policy understands that objects might be at your home, in secure storage, en route to a fair, or on loan to a gallery or museum. Consequently, collections insurance can be written to respond in those settings, rather than going silent the moment an item leaves a mid-levels flat or Kowloon Bay storage unit. However, the core concern of any collections insurance policy is the schedule of values and items covered under the plan. A schedule can be as simple as a total collection limit, with a reasonable per item cap, or as detailed as line-by-line entries for each item in the collection, often with appraisal reports, invoices, high-resolution photographs, and serial or grading identifiers attached. In trading cards, this can mean noting the edition, set, print run, and the professional grade. For Labubu Dolls or other designer toys, a schedule can be equally specific, recording the series and variant, release details, and packaging condition. In fine art, condition reports, provenance documents, and gallery invoices become critical documents supporting your ownership and valuation. The more robust the schedule, the lower the likelihood of dispute after a loss, and a claim settlement which is closer to the policyholder's actual valuation of the item. Whether your passion is a wall of contemporary prints, a glass-fronted row of rare vintage toys, a carefully alphabetized bank of Pokémon and Magic, the Gathering sets, or a climate-controlled box of sports rookies, the core ideas are the same. Identify the risks that are specific to your objects and your habits. Choose policy wording that follows your collection wherever it reasonably goes, keep your schedule current and your documentation thorough, and revisit values as markets move. Specialist collections and art insurance is not a luxury bolted onto a hobby. It is a pragmatic tool for safeguarding the time, energy, and capital that modern collecting demands. The rise of Labubu shows how quickly a niche can become mainstream and then change course. The growth in grading and the shifting price curves in Pokémon, Magic the Gathering, and sports cards show how global and fluid these markets have become. In that environment, the most effective collectors behave like careful archivists and pragmatic risk managers. They photograph and catalogue, they choose display and storage with intention, they keep an eye on market evidence when renewing, and they carry cover that mirrors the life their collections actually live. For more information about collections insurance, or to get a free quote for your collection today, ask CCW, where your insurance is always swift, simple, and sorted.